from Mom Behind the Computer. I thought I would try to do a little bit of a vlog, even though it might be fruitless. I still have one vlog and one sit-down video that I recorded when the quarantine started, which was, I don't know what day it is anymore. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, that I haven't edited, and I actually just posted one today. So, but anyways, I thought when I am trying to get dinner ready might be a good time, one, because I have a place I can set my phone and just chat with you guys, and my little girl is usually off playing and rather content with that, and the lighting is decent through my kitchen window. So that's going to be my goal. Right now, I am actually, let me see if I can show you guys. Nope. Hold on. Let me see if I can show you guys. There we go. I'm 37 weeks pregnant. So we are looking forward to welcoming our little guy. There we go. We're looking forward to welcoming our little guy into our family very soon. I had a C-section with my daughter, and unless God has other plans, the plan is to have a C-section with this little guy, and so actually the plan is to have him at 39 weeks. So we're about 2 weeks away, which is crazy. Let me go grab my rice and I'll be right back. So actually what I am planning to do right now is make some rice and let that sit. My husband's on kind of a weird schedule this week. This is, of course, in April 2020. So he is in the medical field. He's not, I don't know how to classify him really. He's a nurse, but he doesn't do like floor work. So he's somewhere in the middle, and he's on a very weird schedule this week. So we are kind of just up in the air with dinners and things like that. To add to it, I have been feeling quite poorly, quite a bit poorly this week. Today is the first day I felt decent. I think sleep is having a lot to do with it. I am not sleeping well, obviously, which is, I don't think any person who's been pregnant will find that unusual, that you may not be sleeping well, especially right before it's time to deliver. It's super huge. You have to go to the bathroom a lot, and it's super hard to stay comfortable for like an extended period of time. Also, I've been like having weird spouts of tiredness, and I've also been he's been getting up early this week, and I've been having trouble going back to sleep, which is fine, no big deal. But then when it comes time to go to bed, he goes to bed early, and I've been trying to go to bed with him, thinking, oh, if I could just get up at like the butt crack of dawn, then I could get a lot done before my little girl gets up. And I've just been laying there in bed, like not able to sleep. Like I could fall asleep standing up any other time, but not then. So that's been not doing well. I feel bad for him because he's not obviously getting any extra rest. Every now and then, if my little girl is occupied and safe doing something, she's 5, so I trust her enough, especially with me like being right there with her, to take a little nap. I didn't used to feel that way when she was little, so if you don't feel that way right now, I totally get it as a mom. But I do feel comfortable kind of letting her do her own thing, as long as I'm like there and I can kind of hear what's going on. I don't know. I know a lot of people let their kids play more independently a lot earlier, and like she's playing independently now, but there's just something about me being asleep. I only recently did that with her. Anyways, so our dinners are at weird times. He's actually going to be getting off soon. He has to stop by a friend's house. They have a gift for our little guy. At the time they were going to give it to us just when this quarantine all happened. and all of that. So they wanted us to have it before he comes, which was very generous of them. And my hubby's going to pick it up on the way home. So I am going to, the plan for dinner tonight, we have some chicken that hubby grilled out earlier in the week because I was feeling so poorly. He took care of dinner. I think I don't even know what day it is. Thursday? Today's Thursday. So he took care of dinner, I guess each day during the week. And I am just now taking care of dinner. We have one piece of chicken left, which was delicious. So I think I'm going to try to make fried rice. Fried rice is not a specialty of mine. I've made it before. It's edible. I'm hoping to find a good recipe and try that. I didn't stock up. I got extras. I didn't like get a Costco size bag or whatever, but I got like an extra bag of rice to have during this time. And I thought that I should probably start using it. Honestly, we do like rice. Like, little girl loves rice. We like rice a lot with chicken and tzatziki sauce. Like, it's an off tzatziki sauce. It's mostly a sour cream based one. And yeah, we do rice, lettuce, cucumber, all of that stuff. That's delicious. Other than that, we just really don't eat a lot of rice. Sometimes I'll make it as a side, but it's not something that I do a lot of because, I don't know, but we just didn't have rice a lot when I was a kid. So like, I think of potatoes, whereas hubby, he thought of like rice more and things like that. It's not that I don't like it, it just doesn't pop into my head when I'm thinking of food. So I definitely want to get some of this rice used. I know that it has a long shelf life, but it also, like, you have to watch it and things like that. And I'd rather use some of it when I have a reason. So we're going to try chicken fried rice tonight, which means I need to make rice to get dried up a little, let it sit for a little bit, and then we'll make dinner. So I'm actually not making dinner with you guys today. I'm just going to hang out and get the rice started and all of that. Okay, I'm going to try to put some dishes in the dishwasher from lunch, and hopefully it's not too loud. That's one thing I hate about kind of doing two things at once with vlogs, is that sometimes things in the background are so loud, and I don't understand that. But hopefully the water isn't too loud either. I just, you know, doesn't pick up your voice as well sometimes and things, but apparently, you know, just doesn't matter at all with that. So, anyways, I thought I'd talk a little bit today because I'm feeling better, and that means I'm also feeling better emotionally about kind of where I'm at, being about 2 weeks away from delivery, while the world has like pretty much completely changed in aspects of what to expect and things like that, with the coronavirus, COVID-19 happening, and a lot of people being on like lockdown isn't the right word, quarantine, self-isolation, all that jazz. I know that this is definitely not where I expected to be 2 weeks away from delivery in any sense of the word. You know, I tried really hard with my first baby, my little girl, to not have expectations in general, because there's just absolutely no way to know what to expect when you're having a baby for the first time. I feel like, I don't know, maybe some moms seem like super moms and can do it. I just don't find that to be an option for me. I went into it completely blind, and that seemed to work well, not having expectations, because I didn't have any disappointments. I didn't have a birth plan. My plan was to birth the baby. We ended up being induced, and I ended up being induced, and she didn't move at all. She didn't, like, there was no point when I was in active labor at any point. So honestly, I don't think, I'm not in labor obviously with this little guy, but I feel like I've experienced more of what I think my body is like preparing me for labor than I ever remember with her, which was 5 years ago. So it's possible I just don't remember it, but I don't remember feeling like this at all with her. Like the pains and the stuff like that. He's a lot lower than I ever remember her being. So anyways, with my little girl, we got induced. She didn't progress at all. I never went into labor. I never dilated. I never, they broke my water, all that jazz. None of it ever did anything. And so, okay, sorry, I had to get that covered. So the doctor came in after like being in the hospital for a day and a half. And she said, I'm so sorry. It looks like we really need to do a C-section. And I was like, that's fine with me. My mom had a C-section with me because she had preeclampsia, which was called toxemia back then. And so I guess in my head, I like had always, I mean, that always sounded normal, like when you have a baby. It wasn't like my plan or anything, but it didn't bother me at all. And honestly, I tell people now who are freaking out when they find out they have to have a C-section because of, like I've had some friends who their baby wasn't positioned correctly and things like that. And they needed to have a C-section for the safety of them and their baby. Tell them I thought the C-section was rather delightful. I got to be like actively present with my husband. We both got to see the baby and he got to hold her and all of that jazz. It was very delightful at that point in time. My recovery, thankfully, at that one was not bad at all, which I was thankful about. And yeah, it went well. We recovered. Everything was good. I mean, I think with any birth you have ups and downs. With any birth you have ups and downs. With any birth you have pains. You have recovery you have to do. I haven't had natural labor or medicated natural labor or any other way of having a baby, but it sounds scary. Some of the recovery things and things like that, just as I'm sure for people who have never had a C-section, that sounds scary. I think either way you have ups and downs. Born is a good thing. That's kind of how I feel on a lot of those controversial mother things is you're just wanting to get your baby here safe and sound. So the goal is to, obviously get baby here safe and sound. Our expectation with this pregnancy is that it will be another C-section, although if God has other plans, this baby comes another way, that's fine too. However, God wants to get this baby here. God willing, he'll be safe and healthy. That's the goal. So anyways, I try really hard not to have expectations because I know that things just don't go according to plan or according to how you think things are going to go. More often than not, and I just don't like setting myself up. However, once you've had one experience, I think that oftentimes you sort of subconsciously get these expectations. And one of the things that I know changed drastically for us is one, the ability for my husband to be with me for the majority of the hospital stay. We knew that the plan, knowing our family dynamics and what we know works, we knew the plan was never for him to be there like 24/7, but we also, we thought that it was realistic that we could have a sitter and he'd be there probably 75% of the time, which was exciting. That's not a reality anymore. Thankfully, our hospital, as of right now, and the doctor said she does not expect this to change at this point, but thankfully they do allow one support person there. So God willing, everything will work out and my husband will at least be able to be there for the birth. Once that support person leaves, they're out. Like they can't come back in. And The other challenge we're running into with this, besides just the fact of that, is trying to find a sitter. So originally when we first planned to have the baby, we had a list of a ton of people who we expected we could call on if there was any issues, or we needed a sitter. And we actually thought that we'd probably have a hard time kind of picking out who she should stay with, because we are so blessed to have family members and friends who love her so much, and would be happy to watch her. And we still have that. We still have a lot of people who have offered. But the challenge is that my husband still works at a hospital, and there are people at that hospital who have been confirmed diagnosed with COVID-19. And while he does his best to be very safe, there is a possibility that he could be exposed, we could be exposed, because we live in the same house, obviously. We don't think that that's a realistic, we don't think that there's any issues, but we do realize that we could not put most of the people in our life right now into that situation, because we could never forgive ourselves if something happened to them because of us. A lot of the people are older, or help care directly for some of our family members who are older. So while it may not be a huge deal if they get sick, God willing, I mean, you never know, there are young people who are getting sick and having issues too, then they can't help take care of the other person. We obviously would love to help out where we can, but for everybody's safety, we're staying even further away. Not that we would go to their house or hang out with them or whatever, but we're trying to isolate ourselves off as much as possible. Not even dropping off things where we can. We have dropped off a few things as needed, and the people wipe them down and all of that. But there's a lot more we would love to do, and we just can't do it right now, because we just really don't want to put anybody at potential risk. So that really knocked down anybody we could ask to watch her, because we're going to ask them obviously to come into our house, and it's just a really tough situation. Thankfully, we did talk to one of our family members who is young, who our little girl just loves to pieces, and God willing, if everything works out and everybody's well and everything just works out well, she's going to come in, she's going to wear a mask during the entire time to protect her and to protect our little girl, because this person is still working right now, and so just primarily to take care of her, but also to protect the little girl. And I hate that we even need to do this, but we would really like for hubby to be at the delivery at least, and then just for a little bit after recovery, because if you've had a C-section before, they whisk off the baby, and we would love for him to be there for that part, and then make sure everything's doing okay with baby and mama, and then come home and he'll be with little girl until I get to go home, and little guy gets to go home, God willing. So I had a really hard time with all of that. And it still sort of feels icky, doesn't it? It feels icky to me, I guess. It's hard. It's hard to think that not only, can none of the family members get to visit. It really stinks that little girl doesn't get a chance to go see her baby brother in the hospital, even though I completely support what the hospital is doing, don't get me wrong. It just stinks. It also stinks that, we were so blessed. We probably had 20 visitors when little girl was born, and it's going to be very quiet there, which may be for the best. And then my hubby's not going to be there for most of it. We'll be doing FaceTimes and stuff like that. I feel very blessed overall that, there will be nurses there as needed and things like that. But the goal is to get both of us out healthy and safe as quickly as possible, God willing, to eliminate any exposures we can, because we are going to be going into a hospital in what most experts are calling the peak of all of this, which is tough to think about. It is so tough to think about in every way. But I trust God. I've given this care to God quite a few times. I don't know why I keep taking it back, but I know God will watch over us. He's never left me in a tough situation, and I know He won't leave our family in a tough situation either. And I know that I have no clue what it's going to be like when all of this happens, or how it's going to feel, or I feel highly, I don't feel capable really of doing this job well, but I also am realistic and know that God has given me what I need to do what I need to do, whether that be support nurses in the hospital, or whether that's just strength within me and energy within me, and ability and things like that won't be coming from me. It'll be coming from God. And I also am aware that there are many moms out there who are single moms who do this by themselves. And not that long ago, there were mamas who men didn't go into the delivery rooms. Men didn't do that sort of thing. It wasn't that long ago. And that's okay. Those mamas were good. So it'll work out. I don't know how. I don't know what it'll look like. That makes a planner head. Like I have a planner mind. That makes it difficult. But it'll be quite the story, is what I keep telling people. Our little guy will have quite the arrival story. So I am thankful that I do believe without a doubt. While I don't think hospitals want anything to happen to anybody, I think they particularly don't want anything to happen to the mamas or the babies in the maternity wing. So I think that they're going to be doing their best to continue great care, God willing, to the best of their ability. And that helps as well. So that's just a little update. Went a little longer than I thought I was going to, about kind of where we're at. We're also a little bummed that we don't expect anybody to see him in person for months. I don't know. I cannot. I'm sure a lot of you feel this way too. I cannot picture what life is going to be like whenever this stay at home and quarantine and just this pandemic slows down. I don't know that it's ever going to be over, from what I understand. There's a good possibility that we'll be dealing with this as just part of our natural illness cycle, and I am not an expert in saying that. That's just kind of how I understand it, so don't take that as word. There's a lot of stuff that could happen in there that can make that not true. But I can't picture what this looks like after that, and I can't picture how long it's going to be until, one, we feel comfortable having a newborn around people. I know that thankfully children do not seem to be as affected as adults, which is an amazing, wonderful thing. I'm so thankful for that. Like, could you imagine if it was the opposite? That would just be terrible. But I also realize that if we catch it or a baby catches it, I mean, there's still a chance of something happening. And with some of the health conditions we have in our house, there's a very real possibility that we could get very, very sick. And I don't know what you do if you have a newborn and you get so terribly sick. So I don't know at what point we'll feel comfortable having people around our baby. He may be 3 months, he may be 6 months. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to look. I also, which was absolutely not expected, you expect to see a lot of people to come visit your new little one if they're well. I also don't know when we're going to feel comfortable with, my husband's still working in a hospital. when we're going to feel comfortable being around our family members who we expected to be the first people to come see him. And now we can't, most of the people in our circle like that are older and immunocompromised. And I don't know when we're going to feel comfortable exposing them to us again. That sort of thing. So I don't know what life's going to look like. And that's okay. That's all right. There are, again, tons of families who live in even other countries than their families and their friends and things like that. And we'll figure it out. And thank God. I'm seriously thankful to God that this is happening during such an age in technology. I can't fathom what this would have been like if it happened with the technology that we had when I was a kid. I'm so thankful that I'm pretty much going to be able to FaceTime nearly everyone to show them to the baby. Probably the first, when I picture things, I picture like the first pictures of like my little guy and his grandparents are going to be like those screenshots of FaceTime. That's kind of what I'm picturing. I don't know if that's how it'll work out, but that's definitely like what I'm picturing, which will be quite the story to tell. I'm so thankful that we can share photos and do videos, and that it's all going to be, hopefully, God willing, very easy to do that. That's going to be fun. And I'm thankful for that we live in a world right now where we can have Amazon deliveries. And we've actually bought a lot of stuff for him since all of this started, because the way the trajectory was going, I was expecting a couple more weeks to kind of prepare. And then we realized that the trajectory was moving much more quickly than we thought. So I've ended up purchasing a lot from online retailers, specifically Amazon, and having them delivered here, and we clean them and take care of them here. I'm thankful for that. There was a time that wasn't an option. There was a time when picking up groceries wasn't an option, which we've tried to be very limited in what we do as far as groceries go. I tried to stock up way before I ever thought that this was going to be something that everybody was taking part in. But I knew that we have immunocompromised people, and I knew that we had a baby coming, and I knew from what I was hearing that I was not going to want my family members out on this any more than we need to. And I'm thankful that God kind of gave me that realization so that I could prepare accordingly, food-wise. We're going through it much more quickly than I thought, but that's a video for another day. Thankfully, we still have plenty of food. I did not clear the shelves. This was way before, this was actually in February, before anybody started panicking, but I did prepare our family, and I'm so thankful that God kind of gave me the awareness to do that, because I'm pregnant, and it would have been very stressful for me to need to be out when all of this started. So yeah, life is a lot different than I thought it would be in April of 2020. I knew it would be crazy. I knew it would be unknown and stressful. I didn't expect it to be in this way, but I'm thankful for all of the people who are out there doing their thing as needed, who are essential workers, and thankful for all the people who are staying home, who are not essential workers, and thankful. There's so much I'm thankful about. I'm actually right now doing a daily gratitude post on Instagram. So if you want to check that out, you can see it on, I think I'm just Mom Behind the Computer on Instagram. I would love for you all to join me and share your gratitudes each day. It's been a really good practice for me to really focus on the things that I'm grateful for each day. And that's been such a blessing. And I would love to see you guys join me there if you'd like. So that is something that I felt like God was leading me to do after a really bad day. Stress and anxiety wise, I felt like God was really kind of pointing me to do that. I've had some wonderful examples in my life of people who have done similar exercises, and it's been such a blessing. And so I hope that, I know that it helps me. I'm hoping that it helps encourage other people, just as those daily posts have helped me when I've read them from other people. So I'm gonna stop rambling. My rice is done. I'm gonna let it sit out. Got the dishes loaded up, and I'm gonna go downstairs and hang with my little girl while the rice dries out, and then I'm gonna give this chicken fried rice an attempt in a little bit. So thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like to see more, we'll call them kitchen chats. I probably am going to have more in the future. Hopefully not this long each time, but I probably will have some more in the future if this goes well. And so please hit subscribe so that you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.